In the remote Lebanese village of Ain Rumieh, nestled deep in the shadow of the ancient cedars, there was an old legend whispered among the elders. It spoke of Al-Ru al-Ta'isha, the wandering spirit that roamed the forests, seeking vengeance on those who disturbed the land's ancient slumber. Hani, a young journalist from Beirut, had always dismissed village superstitions. He was sent to Ain Rumieh to investigate the recent disappearance of 3 hikers who had ventured into the nearby cedar forest. The villagers refused to speak to him, their wrinkled faces tightening with fear whenever he mentioned the missing people. One old woman, Jamil, finally muttered a warning. "Turn back before the trees start whispering." Undeterred, Hani ventured into the forest alone. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and pine, and the towering trees blocked out the late afternoon sun. As he walked deeper, he noticed something odd. The wind did not blow, yet the branches swayed as if breathing. Then he heard it, a whisper, faint at first, like the rustling of leaves. But soon the words became clear. A hoarse voice called his name. "Hani, Hani, leave before the roots claim you." He spun around, his flashlight flickering. There was no one there, but the ground beneath his feet felt soft, almost shifting. He pressed forward, trying to shake the growing dread clawing at his chest. Then he saw them, 3 figures, barely visible through the thick fog rolling in, standing motionless between the trees. Their faces were obscured, their clothes tattered. He stepped closer, his breath caught in his throat. The fog parted slightly, revealing their faces, pale, sunken, their mouths stretched into silent screams. The missing hikers. One of them, a young woman, raised a trembling hand and pointed at Hani. Her lips moved, but her voice came from the trees. "Leave before it takes you too." The ground beneath Hani cracked. He looked down in horror. Roots, black and gnarled, were slithering out of the soil, twisting around his ankles. He yanked his leg, but they tightened, pulling him down inch by inch. The whispers grew into screams. The trees shook violently, as if something ancient and furious was waking beneath them. With one last desperate effort, Hani grabbed a nearby branch and pulled himself free, tumbling backward. He scrambled to his feet and ran, the ground behind him splitting open, revealing a gaping abyss beneath the roots. The screams followed him until he burst out of the forest and collapsed at the village's edge. The villagers found him the next morning, delirious and covered in dirt. He never spoke of what happened, but he never returned to the mountains. And deep in the cedar forest, the trees whispered his name, waiting